Threat hunting is not waiting for an alert to be perfect. It is a focused investigation that uses intelligence to ask better questions. Internal telemetry tells you what your identities, endpoints, networks, cloud services, and applications actually did. External intelligence gives outside context about adversaries, malware, infrastructure, techniques, and exploitation trends. A mature hunt fuses both forms a hypothesis and tests it against evidence. Internal and external intelligence do different jobs. Internal data is closest to your environment, so it can prove whether activity occurred. External intelligence is broader, so it can suggest what adversaries are doing elsewhere and what behaviors may matter. The strongest hunt does not blindly trust one feed, it looks for alignment between outside context and inside evidence. Internal intelligence begins with telemetry. Identity logs, endpoint activity, DNS, proxy, firewall, EDR, cloud control plane events, SaaS audit logs, asset inventory, and vulnerability context can all help. But hunters must know coverage and quality. If a data source is missing, delayed, or poorly normalized, the hunt question must account for that limitation. External intelligence includes indicators, adversary reports, malware analysis, vulnerability exploitation trends, dark web observations, ISAC notices, and vendor research. Indicators like IP addresses and hashes can be useful, but they change quickly. Techniques, procedures, targeting patterns, and exploit trends often produce better hunt questions. The hunter filters for relevance to the organization. A hunt hypothesis is a testable statement, not a vague worry. For example, based on recent exploitation of a remote access product, we may see new service creation followed by outbound command and control from exposed servers. That statement names expected behavior and evidence. It also helps define the scope, data sources, time window, and success criteria. Framework mapping helps hunters avoid random searching. MITRE ATATAT organizes adversary tactics and techniques, while CAPEC describes common attack patterns. A hypothesis can map to techniques such as valid accounts, command and scripting, scheduled task, credential dumping, or exfiltration over web services. The point is not to memorize IDs, it is to connect behavior to coverage and evidence. A hunt query is where intelligence becomes operational. The hunter translates behavior into fields: process name, parent process, command line, user, source address, destination, DNS name, cloud API call, file path, or authentication result. Good queries also define time window, asset scope, and exclusions. The first query is rarely final. Iteration is normal. A hunt finding is not complete just because a query returned results. Hunters validate. They corroborate across independent data sources, check asset and user context, compare timestamps, review payload or command details when appropriate, and look for benign explanations. Escalation should include confidence, evidence, impact, and known gaps. The best hunts leave the organization stronger. If the hunt finds adversary behavior, create or tune detections, update response playbooks, enrich asset context, block or monitor infrastructure, and improve logging gaps. If the hunt disproves the hypothesis, document that too. Threat hunting is part of a feedback loop between intelligence, detection engineering, and response. Knowledge check. A trusted external report describes attackers abusing remote monitoring tools after initial access. Your internal telemetry shows several servers with unusual service creation, followed by outbound connections to rare destinations. What should the hunter do first? A. Block every remote monitoring tool immediately without validation. B. Build a hypothesis, map the behavior, run scoped queries, validate evidence, and then improve detections or response. C. Ignore the report if it came from outside randern. The final takeaway is simple. Intelligence is useful when it changes the questions you ask and the evidence you collect. Internal telemetry proves what happened in your environment. External intelligence helps you decide what behaviors deserve attention. A strong hunter builds a hypothesis, maps it to adversary behavior, queries the right data, validates the result, and improves detections so the next signal is easier to catch.